Good morning and happy Friday. What is this? All Saints Day after All Souls Day. It's also National Author Day that I just saw, which is perfect because we have an author on tap for you today, talking about the St. Louis Jewish Book Festival, which is kicking off this weekend. It goes for the next couple of weeks. We had Leonard Nimoy's son, Adam Nimoy, on just a couple of weeks ago. He will be at the book festival. And then the guy we have on today, Andrew Mellen, he's going to be in our second part of our show today, and he is going to declutter your life, my life, your life on so many levels. So looking forward to that. But our first part of our show will be with Nick Fradiani. Do you remember him from American Idol, the winner of American Idol back in 2015? And now he is playing Neil Diamond in A Beautiful Noise, which again, I had a chance to see the other night. I hope you have as well. If not, we get a chance to sit down with Nick and have a very candid conversation about really how this all came about for him since American Idol, what he's been doing, his solo work, etc., and what his big plans are for the future. So it's going to be a lot of fun. But before we get to that, we've got to start your day off with the weather segment. What the weather?
Alrighty, welcome back into this new more weather forecast video. This one has been looking significant for a couple of days. So
good morning to you.
Good morning, Monica.
Finally.
Nice to be here.
All right, we saw some of this the other day, what's behind us, but I was asking Beckett if we have that in the forecast for this weekend. So he's going to tell us all about it. First of all, good morning, Beckett. This is our aspiring meteorologist, Beckett Moore. How are you this morning?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right. Everybody might be hearing a little bit of a frog in my throat. I can't kick this over the last couple of days. So I'm hoping that it doesn't go out on me in this next hour. But how was Halloween for you?
It was great. We went trick-or-treating and then watched a movie with a couple friends.
So did you dress up?
I actually didn't because I guess I just put it off finding a costume, and then Halloween came and I didn't end up finding costume. So I just kind of went around and just kind of made up what I was.
What did you end up saying you were?
I just said I was a football player or something like that.
I'm on the sidelines. I'm not playing right now.
Yeah, exactly.
So you know what? This is a question I'll ask you because I saw this national poll the other day that said, what age do you stop trick-or-treating? What do you think that is?
I would say maybe like 16 or over, maybe 15 or over, probably something like that.
Yep. The national poll said 15. I'll ask that to our audience. What do you think? And when did you stop? We were discussing that last night while we were giving out candy. I don't know if I went past 8th grade. If I did, I'd have to talk to my brothers, maybe freshman year. But overall, it was saying 15, which you are now. I just saw that you and your twin sister got your permits. Is that correct?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Watch out. Get off the roads, folks.
Yeah, watch out.
Are you excited?
Yes, I am, for sure.
So it's definitely great practice time before you get your official driver's license at 16. But I can't believe that. It's just congratulations. So that's super cool. So yeah, everybody, let us know, when did you stop trick-or-treating or when do you think your kids are going to do that? So the rain was crazy the other day. I did not wake up to the alert that a lot of people did. Did your phone go off?
Yes, it did. We did wake up to the sirens and headed downstairs, but then the tornado warning for our area pretty quickly expired, and I do not think there's actually a tornado associated with that warning, which is great.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. I didn't hear, they were just saying that there were reports and then there was no damage or anything, which was good to hear. But yeah, I woke up and I saw the notification. I'm like, why didn't it go off? I'm like, good, here I am laying here. It could have been just blown away.
Yeah.
All right, but we don't have any rain in the weekend forecast, right?
No, not till Monday.
All right, so let's tell everybody what the bus stop forecast looks like and as we go into our weekend.
Yeah, so this morning, we got a temperature of around 43 degrees and sunny skies, not warming up by much, only getting to 60 today, finally getting back down to a little bit below average, but really around average for this time of the year. Sunny skies, again, with 60 degrees as our high today for our Friday. Again, 60 as our high, sunny skies, 43 as our low tonight, warming up just a bit tomorrow, getting to 67 and sunny, but that rain really making a return. We need that rain not only in St. Louis, but throughout the entire state of Missouri. And we're really going to get that as we head into early this next week and even into the next week. I do think we're going to get a lot of rain here in the coming weeks, starting here on Sunday. So 75 degrees, 80% chance of rain for your Sunday. And that's when the clocks are going to go back as well. So heads up for that. 76 on Monday. Again, rain there. Cooling down just a bit on Tuesday for your election day. 90% chance of rain. So if you are planning on voting, of course, if you want to vote, make sure you get out and vote even in the rain. But I do think it's going to get out of here either in the afternoon or evening. So maybe plan on going then or just go early voting. But 63 on Wednesday and 60 on Thursday as we do start cooling down heading into late next week. But first, we got to get through that rain, but we do need that.
Yeah, the election day lines have been long already with early voting. People have been waiting in line for about an hour and a half. They will do so. They're expecting record crowds, unlike anything we've ever seen. So bring your umbrella and just deal with it.
Yeah, for sure. Just deal with it.
All right, Beckett. Well, thank you so much. Are you off school today or do you have to go in?
Unfortunately, I have to go.
You do have to go in. Okay, I know a lot of kids might be off today. All right, well, have a wonderful day, and then we'll see you on Monday.
Thank you. You too.
All right, everybody, if you're new to the show, isn't he great? Aspiring meteorologist Beckett Moore. He joins us on Mondays and Fridays, and even when we get into some really severe weather, sometimes you'll see him more throughout the week. Speaking of which, I want to make sure you follow him on X and on YouTube on his More Weather pages. Be sure to look at that because he is really fantastic. Michelle is moderating this morning because Hannah is out going to the Taylor Swift concert, I think in Indianapolis. So have a great time, Hannah. And Michelle, thank you so much. She said is it Dias de la Muertes, which is the Day of the Dead. Good morning to you. Kathy, good morning. Freshman year was the last year for Julie, she says. So yes, anybody that is just tuning in, we were talking about when do you stop or when did you, or when the kids saying that they're going to stop trick-or-treating. Let's see. Julie says, I have tickets for this musical for November 7th. Can't wait to see it. So she's talking about what we have on tap today. 2 interviews. The first, we're going to talk about Neil Diamond. If you are a fan of Neil Diamond, Nick Fradiani, the American Idol winner back from 2015, sitting down with us. And then we get a chance to talk to Andrew Mellen, one of the authors that will be at the St. Louis Jewish Book Festival. The festival events, by the way, run November 2nd. So tomorrow through the 17th. There's also a Missouri's Own panel, which includes local authors on November 14th. Andrew Mellen is the man hailed as the most organized man in America. Boy, do I need his help. What about you? All right, we've got all that on tap for you today. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to start off with Nick Fradiani. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome to the mobile Monica version of the Real Monica Adams Show at my favorite restaurant. There's something about a coffee house that's just very warm and welcoming.
Gives you that sense of community.
What are you most proud of since you've opened it?
I cry easily. I'm thankful for everybody here.
You opened the door during the middle of the pandemic. You got the best Italian restaurant in the United States. Here in St. Louis, you put us on the map.
Does it scare you? Go through fear?
Terrifying.
So how do you get past the fear?
We find something to laugh about.
Set the world right. We'll find a century that don't ask no questions. Yeah. Hey. Oh, look, my rosy child, you got a way to make me happy. She got the way to move me, cherry. She got the way to groove it. She got the way to groove it. Hot cherry, baby. All right. Girl, I can't stay long. We've got things we gotta catch up on.
my gosh, come on. How many of you would be able to sit in your seats and not move? I'm sitting here moving in my seat like this. And then that's got to be the big thunderous one that everyone's like, I've been waiting for it,
Yeah.
right? Sweet Caroline.
100%.
Let me introduce again. Nick Fradiani is in studio with me all the way back, first of all, to American Idol, and then we'll come forward to this. First of all, congratulations back then.
Thank you.
I remember sitting at home going, wow, what a voice. Come on, vote. So I voted. Did you all
Well,
vote? I
thank you
hope
for
so.
voting. Appreciate it.
It's
I
been
needed them, I think.
quite a ride for you since then, right?
It has been, yeah. It's been, I mean, it's crazy for me to think that in May, that'll have been 10 years ago. 'Cause
Yes.
It was, May of 2015. And to now, be doing this. And it's been a wild, decade since then. But it's been a blessing, just to be able to, to play and sing music has always been my goal. So it's been it's been just an amazing experience.
After you won American Idol, and people always want to know this, we've had Ruby Leon, who was involved in that and then went into so many other aspects, and she talked about some things behind the scenes, and she's like, yeah, sometimes it's great to win, sometimes it's good not to. When you win American Idol, how much do they have a hold on the beginning of your career?
Yeah, that's a good question. How much time do we have? What I would say is, to me, it was a wonderful experience. I'm glad that I won. I don't sit back and think, oh, I wish I just came in fourth and then maybe I would have had more creative freedom or whatever. I would say the first year was a little bit tough after winning with some decisions that were made with the record label, but that's not really American Idol's thing. You are put, when you win, your prize is really you get a record deal.
Right.
And they're obligated to basically put one record out for you and you sign this contract and whatever. But they were actually really good with me. I still have my own publishing and I would say that they did very much right by me. And, and it's changed my life. I mean, I couldn't, the amount of, I always remember my goal was just to be able to play music and make a living and just be happy. Sure. And that's what that show allowed me to do. And I'm so close with a lot of the, from the producers to the cast to everything, stayed really close. So it was an experience I will never, ever forget.
And you came out of that, your first solo album was Hurricane?
Yep. So that was in 2016. So that was, that was through Big Machine, which is like Taylor Swift's record label. It was Taylor Swift's record label. So that was like a crazy thing to be. It was like really a country label, and I put out a pop album, which is kind of an interesting idea from them. And then, but since then I've put out, 2 albums since then on my own, and, I've toured the country doing my own music, and now finding this other avenue of, kind of really going all in musical theater since 2019 has really totally changed my life again and just took me on this other path that I never thought I would go on.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you, because I mentioned again that when you were 3 years old, your parents took you to see Neil Diamond, and you say that changed your life.
Yeah, I mean...
In what way?
I didn't think it did at the time. I don't even remember it. But, I always remember my parents telling me that far before I was going to do this. And... my first memories of music did involve Neil Diamond. My dad was a huge Neil fan. The two people I think of the most are the two artists are the Beatles and Neil Diamond, because my dad was a fanatic about both. And Neil's Christmas album was one of the first things I remember too. If I hear his Christmas album, it brings me right back to being 8 or 9 years old. And I think that's some of the reason why I get his voice so well, because me and my dad used to do a Neil impersonation to different Christmas songs.
I saw a video of you and your father. Your dad's got a great voice, by the way.
He's tremendous. Yeah, he's great. Yeah, he's given me all, if anything, and he's, he plays like every instrument, and it's
really?
just, he's a really talented guy, and kind of taught me, everything I know.
How many instruments do you play?
I just play guitar and piano.
Not just, you play guitar and piano.
I play guitar and piano. I say I play guitar. Piano, I could, I like to write songs on the piano, but I'm not on my own shows, I usually do 1 or 2 songs on the piano. But yeah, I'd say I'm a guitar player. My dad is a great bass player, a really great piano player, great guitar player. Kind of could dabble in everything. But
what about you two putting something out?
Yeah, we actually did. We do a Christmas show every year. We've done it for 7 years now. So we put this Christmas album out. It's a little Christmas EP that we did. I forgot, maybe a couple years ago.
Very cool.
But yeah, we did. Yeah, that's our thing. We like to do Christmas songs, apparently. But yeah, it's been he's the reason that this Neil thing is so bizarre because he used to play, like you said, he took me to my first concert. It was Neil Diamond. He used to, do a Neil Diamond set with it because his job was a musician. When I grew up, he would travel and he would do cruise ships or go to Vegas or Atlantic City or whatever. That was his job. It still performs probably 4 nights a week in Connecticut right now. Yeah, that man does not stop. He is like, he loves to play music and he's very good at it still. He hasn't, I think that's the key, is like he just never stopped. You know, some people lose their voice. He just kept it going. And so yeah, he kind of like put this Neil Diamond thing in my blood, I guess, at a young age, and then for this to happen is just very
that's
strange.
what so Kismic. All right, that's what I was going to say. Nick Fradiani, again, let me reintroduce my guest. So you know him from American Idol, but do you know now that you can go see him at the Fabulous Fox Theater, because it just opened up actually this week and runs in through November 10th. So tickets are still available for you, evening matinee performances. How cool, though, to have gone to that as your first concert and then to go along, have this love for music, get onto American Idol, win American Idol, release your own music, and then have this opportunity all these years later to come back. Your dad and your family just have to be like geeking out about this.
Oh, my dad geeks out over the Neil stuff. Maybe more than anything I've done. He was so proud. Because I think, too, he's pretty fascinated by the acting side of it, since I never acted until I was in A Bronx Tale, the national tour in 2019, which was my first ever. I never stepped foot on I never did musical theater in high school or college or after that. So, I had to, working with a bunch of different people for my acting and all this, and to get to this level has been cool for him to see. And then, my obsession over getting Neil's voice so right and his mannerisms and the way he moves on stage. My dad was super into it. He's seen the show. Him and my mother have seen the show. I mean, from Broadway to now, it's got to be
how many times?
35 to 40 times.
Really? Are they going to travel to St. Louis to see you?
They might. I wouldn't be surprised. They're actually they're in the midst of moving right now, so it might be tough for them to get to St. Louis, but they would love it. I mean, the Fox, I've never performed.
Okay, that was just going to ask you.
I walked in and I've never seen anything like that.
Jaw dropping, right?
And I performed in some pretty amazing spots, but it's the most beautiful theater I've ever seen. And it was, having done it at the Broadhurst on Broadway, which is about 1,100 people, to here, when you have thousands and thousands, it's like 4 times the size of the Broadway theater.
Look, you just gave me chills, and I've been going since I was a little girl. It is,
blew
right?
my mind, yeah. And I'm like singing to these people up and I'm like, this is really cool. And but just the beauty of it. I'm like, they can't make anything like this anymore. Like, this is so special, and it's amazing how great it's kept. It was like really cool.
Well, we're going to take a break, but there you go. I mean, right there. It's just everything about it, and every time you go, you see something new. I always love taking pictures going, where am I? And people are like, is that the Fox? It is the Fox. It's just a new little nook and cranny that I found.
It's so crazy.
The behind the scenes, though, and all those signatures on the wall.
I went into my dressing room and I said, it was Stevie Ray Vaughan, 1987. I almost passed out, and then it was like Santana under that. I'm like, I shouldn't sign this one. I'm going to go on the other side. Like, I'm not putting my name next to those legends. But it just blew my mind.
We need to find Neil Diamond and put you right next to Neil Diamond.
That might be okay.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. Again, Nick Fradiani, my guest. We're talking about A Beautiful Noise. It is Neil Diamond. And again, this is all endorsed, and Neil's like, yes, let's do this. I've read something that's going to blow your mind about he and Elvis. Who would you think was bigger between the two? Is it the man in the black leather jacket, or is it Sweet Caroline? I'm going to get you to sing that with me. All right, when we return, more with Nick. Don't go anywhere.
We're at the Vault Luxury Resale in Brentwood, and I think this is going to be a very dangerous shoot, Diana.
It'll be
fabulous.
She says it is. We do costume jewelry. It's everything women want. You know, sometimes I want to grab a Kendra Scott earring or just a fun, untrend earring, but other times I want David Yurman, John Hardy, Tiffany. So we also have that.
Some beautiful costume jewelry, some really gorgeous high-end jewelry.
Yes. We have phenomenal cowboy boots. We have, Paige, Mother, all designer denim.
Luxury resale, not at the luxury price.
We, have every kind of high-end handbag.
Woo.
And everything from Bottega, Louis Vuitton, tons of Gucci, Chanel. We not only deal with people in St. Louis, we deal with, a lot of people in New York, celebrities in New York, Nashville, Beverly Hills.
Monica Hermes Adams. How's that
Yes,
sound?
that sounds great.
All right, one more designer area.
Look at these. These are Chanel, Jimmy Choo, Prada, Gucci. We have everything from Steve Madden boots to Chanel boots.
They're going to love what you come back with.
Yes.
Welcome back. Again, thanks for tuning in, talking a little entertainment today. And for those of you that enjoy reading, we've got a great author to help declutter your life. I can't wait to talk to him. I need that in my life. Well, again, if you just tuned in, Nick Fradiani is our guest. We're talking about A Beautiful Noise, again, at the Fabulous Fox. So how was opening night, by the way?
It was amazing. Opening nights are always a little stressful in a tour, I've learned, because the crew is getting in overnight. They're having to set up this extravagant set, and it's just a lot of people with hard hats in as you're walking in, and you're like, can we, and doing your sound check and everything. But once we got out there, for me, it was a little bit overwhelming at first because I'd never heard the show in such a big place. It's a different thing, you know what I mean? And so it took me a second, but overall, it was amazing, and the crowd by the end, like they loved it, and everybody was standing at the end and singing along with us.
Of course.
It was beautiful. We're excited to do get 2 full weeks here.
I'm sure it's probably hard for them to not be singing while you're singing because they know these songs so well, and they want to be singing. At some point, you probably pipe it down. I'm singing here.
They just so you know, there is a time at the end for sing-alongs, in our show. So.
Good.
If you could keep it composed for like an hour and 2 hours, you're gonna have a nice release.
Your time is coming.
Yeah, you're gonna have some time. But usually on Sweet Caroline, if they want to sing with me, I don't care. It's okay. It's a sing along type song.
Is that your favorite from the show?
No.
No. What is?
I think I think if you asked Neil, even I don't know if he would say like that's his favorite song. It's his most popular song.
Yeah.
It's an amazing song. What I'll say about that song is it really makes me happy, especially at the end of the show after it's all over the bows and we sing it. You see so much joy in everybody's especially like I see like older couples like hugging or families. Like you'll see a father and a son and his mother hugging. It's just like a joyous song.
Right.
So I'd say that's my favorite moment to see. But singing wise, I love, there's this moment where I sing Solitary Man, and it's like it's where Neil made his debut as an artist because he was a songwriter first, and the bitter end is in New York, this famous cafe type place that I've actually played at in New York.
Very cool.
And it's just a cool moment. It brings me back to when I first started playing music, and it's just, on a stool playing the guitar, and it's like a cool moment. So that's my favorite song to sing.
Okay.
The show.
So again, if we just tuned in, it opened up on October 29th, but it runs through November 10th. And here is the quote that I was reading, and I was like, that's fascinating. So, Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award, induction into the Songwriters and Rock and Roll Halls of Fame for Neil, and sold out concerts around the world that made him bigger than Elvis. I was telling my mom this because
at one point, I believe, I don't know if it's all time, but at one point he was the highest grossing touring artist of all time, ahead of Elvis Presley.
That's incredible.
I know. Yeah, he was. And the thing, it's weird, like I didn't realize how huge he was until I started doing this. And I did this one cover of I Am I Said on Facebook and YouTube, like, I don't know, this has to be 3 years ago. And it kind of went viral. It got like 5 million views. And I saw literally hundreds of thousands of comments from his fans all over the world. And I was like, wow, this is like, and they just want more Neil. They just, and and that's what's unfortunate, that he can't perform anymore. And he loves and loved to perform and did it up until 2018. And now he can't. And so this is really the way he wanted his story to be told. There's no movie and no book, and this was he sat down with the writer and put this show together. And he also always said that like he wanted it to be a touring show because he loved touring so much. So he wanted it to go all over the country, and it'll end up being all over the world. So and the tour, I got to say, has been wild. I mean, we've done 3 cities. There's hardly been any seats in the 3 cities. There are some seats in St. Louis, though, so grab your tickets. But overall, it's been crazy. I mean, just packed, and people just so enthused and excited, and it makes my job a lot easier because, when I did a Bronx Tale, you're dealing with the cast, and you don't really care it's a storyline, and there's a lot of that in the show.
Yeah.
But there's also moments that you're in a stadium watching Neil Diamond perform, so the audience is like, I'm
take
interacting
them there,
with
right?
them.
That transcend.
So when I get that energy, it's so much easier to give it back. And on tour, it's been through the roof. Great vibes and energy from the whole audience.
So, Nick, do you think since they can't see him in concert anymore that this is the closest? Because you do. I was watching video after video. I was just like, oh my gosh, I can't stop watching. I looked at the time. I've been watching Nick sing for 2 hours. But you do sound just like him, that it makes you feel like I'm going to a Neil Diamond concert. So if they can't have him touring again, do you think that's why it's been so successful?
Maybe. Yeah. I mean, yes. I think, the weird thing about it is you feel it all and you're like, it's not for me, it's for Neil. And there's that's an important thing to feel, because sometimes, especially when you're doing 8 shows and you're traveling and you're exhausted, it could be tough to do this every day. It's a lot. It's a heavy load. But I always think in my head, this is for him. He can't do this, and he would do anything to do this. Sure. So that's really important to me to go out and give it, do that justice. There's no other Neil Diamond I can't do. I can't be Neil, and so I just try to do and I also don't want to do a full-blown impersonation,
right? Because
I just think it's going to come off as corny, and I don't want to be an impersonator. But I try to do it, and I've gotten better at it, because sometimes I still watch some of those videos from Broadway. I was doing a little bit too much of some things, and now I feel like now that I've done it probably 400 or 500 times, I've really found a way to make it my voice, but also Neil's, and it's a middle ground, and it's been just a joyous thing to do, and it's pretty great.
And what an incredible cast you have, and the director
Truly.
And producers. I mean, across the board.
Yep.
Just one of those that I think is going to go down as you saying, wow, this is one of my tops. There's the cast, by the way. So you've got Neil Diamond then, Neil Diamond now.
Yeah, Bob Westenberg, who is just a legend in the Broadway community, and so to have him, playing, without giving away the storyline, there are 2 Neil Diamonds that you're going to see: a Neil Diamond currently and a Neil Diamond then in the past, and who I play. And Neil now is currently dealing with some issues mentally, and I guess you could say some sort of depression, and he has Parkinson's now, and is dealing with that, and dealing with the fact that he can no longer perform. And he, through the advice of his now wife Katie, is advised to get some therapy, and that's where the show begins, where you would not think that's how a Neil Diamond musical is going to begin. And so there's this very deep story, and almost a play within a musical within a rock concert is kind of what is going on. And so you get kind of these very heavy, intimate moments, but you're also going to get that fun, exciting, concert feel. So it's really great.
Well, I love the fact you just brought that up, because there's been so much money that's been raised for Parkinson's disease research. So there's this incredible tie-in to helping give back to the world for those that are suffering from that.
Yeah, we've done, since Broadway until now, I think, I don't know the exact number, but there's been a large donations to the Parkinson's Foundation, and Michael J. Fox Foundation has come. So we've had it's been a great help for that, and just to bring awareness to it, is great.
I mentioned something to Nick when we were at break, that I was looking through your Instagram and I saw a picture. How long ago was this that you met Hugh Jackman?
September.
Just September.
Yeah.
And so how did that come about?
We were rehearsing at the Gibney Studios in New York City, and I was just sitting outside. I wasn't needed in the rehearsal at the time, so I was just sitting in the hallway, tuning and playing the guitar, and Hugh Jackman just walked out of the bathroom, honestly, and he was just there.
Wait, what?
And he's like, "You sound good, mate," and that was about it. Then we started talking, and he asked what I was working on, and I asked him what he was working on, and I told him I'm doing the Neil Diamond musical, and he was telling me about how he's and it was just announced, so I don't have to hide it, but he's doing a movie called Song Sung Blue, which it used to be a documentary. They're redoing it as a movie, where he's a he's married to a Patsy Cline impersonator, and he is a Neil Diamond impersonator. And so
How
he's singing
fun.
Neil Diamond songs. So we had a lot of Neil conversations. And so, yeah, he's a super nice guy.
So again, you had
Big
never
dude, too. I was like, God, Don,
like
he's
big as in tall.
tall and just,
And
I mean, we
big.
knew he was, from the X-Men, he's jacked, but I was like, wow, he's just a big man. And
I don't think I've ever known he was that tall.
yeah, I mean, he's much. I mean, I'm 6 feet. He had to be 2 or 3 inches taller than me.
Really?
Yeah, he's a big
Yeah,
guy.
my aunt in love with him. She says he's the perfect man because she's like, first of all, he's gorgeous.
Yes.
He's built well. He
Yes.
sings. He
Yes.
dances. He loves his wife.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many levels of
Yeah.
him. And I'm
Yeah.
glad to hear that he was
I think he's
nice to you.
divorced.
What?
He just got divorced.
Don't say that. He did? Well,
Yeah.
he was nice to
I'm
his wife at the
so
time. Scratch
I was
the
gonna let it
record.
go. I'm like, pretty sure he just got
They
divorced.
did? Oh, no. See, I'm out of... I
It's all right, it's
don't
all right.
watch the news anymore, so I've been out of that. Interesting. All right. Well, then, Aunt Tootie, he's available. Well, never mind. She's married. Don't spit up your tea. Okay, so you had never done Broadway. You're brought to this. So many things, and this is what I love about how paths are laid before you. Is there anything that's never even been on your radar that you think, hey, I didn't do Broadway, now I'm doing this. Maybe I could do this in the future?
Yeah, well, I was always fascinated with acting, and when I got into A Bronx Tale, I was able to work with Chaz Palminteri, who wrote it, and it's his life story, and he played Sonny in a Bronx Tale, and so he worked with me a lot with acting, and I always felt like my choices in acting are not theatrical as much. I've had to learn how to be bigger with my acting choices because you're performing, especially on tour. I've had to even get bigger with some choices because you got to act to the the person in the back of a 4,000 seat theater. But I really enjoy the more intimate acting scene. So I think TV or film would be cool. So that's always a thought. But music will always be my number one thing, and writing songs and recording. And I also always say, I think I just learned I just love to perform, whether it's my own stuff, whether it's being Neil Diamond, whether it was A Bronx Tale. I just love being in front of a crowd and getting that love. I guess it's just like the same thing Neil dealt with. It's an incredible feeling. It's it's kind of a
feedback.
drug that you just don't, when you get
That's
off.
a good addiction, though. Nick.
It's a good addiction. That's what I mean. And it's it is addicting, and I do love, to be able to share, something that I've worked at for a long time. And especially with this role, I did it so much on Broadway that it was a little bit of a difficult decision at first. Like, am I ready to now do this again and take it on the road? It's an exhausting thing, but like, I really wanted to share this with the country. I felt like I worked really hard at it. I knew like so many of the creatives and people worked so hard, and I just knew it was going to be great on the road. So, yeah.
Well, I want you all to see it. Again, it's here through November 10th. So you're here for a couple of weeks. Has anybody told you things you have to do while you're in St. Louis?
I haven't. Well, I just got here, so I'm trying to. I feel like you could give me some great advice now.
I always say, and I swear, I do not get any money from this, but you've got to go to Trattoria Marcella for dinner.
Done.
Right? Seriously, it's the best Italian in our area. You will love it. I mean, obviously, you got to go to the Arch.
Yeah.
You just got to see some of our iconic places. If the weather cooperates, you got to go over to the zoo. The zoo's free.
I was told about the zoo, and I was told it's free, so that's cool. So I'll probably head there. What's the name of the Italian restaurant again?
Trattoria Marcella.
Trattoria Marcella.
Yes,
And,
but there's a bunch. I mean, we're a good foodie scene.
Yeah.
But that's the best Italian.
Great. I mean, I will be there. I just have to pick I think Sunday we have a pretty early ending, so maybe I can make it there then, because I can't eat before a show. I get so it's
bloated,
tough. And then after
I
the
can't
show,
move.
It's too late, so then I can't. They're not open, so I always struggle.
Maybe they'll deliver you some toasted ravioli.
You
have to have
I
toasted
had toasted ravioli last
No,
night.
you haven't had toasted ravioli until you have theirs. I'm not kidding you.
I had so much last night. The Fox threw us this amazing party last night. They were so kind, and I had never had that, and I went over. Well,
did you like it?
I overdid it and felt it. I woke up this morning like, dang, those are heavy.
They are.
That was a lot, but it was really good.
And
really
Provel
good.
cheese. Have you ever had Provel cheese?
No.
Well, that's what
there's
St. Louis.
another thing.
Yeah, so there's another thing, and you have to go get Ted Drew's.
Ted Drew's.
Yep, it's concrete.
All right.
Yeah, I'm serious.
Okay.
All right, we're going to give you a list of all
Give me
these
a
things.
list, yeah.
Yes.
I'll
And anybody
follow
else wants to drop in a comment
let me know
of
in
what
the
you
comments
think
I
that
need to
he
do.
needs.
I have 2 weeks, and I have to do 16 shows, so we'll weave it in.
All right,
there.
but let's not leave him. Have him leave here and go. Why did I gain 20 pounds?
Yeah, right. The costume department will be wardrobe will be very mad at us.
All right, everybody, I want you to go get your tickets. Or again, whether you want to go down to the box office, get them online. It is through November 10th. And one of the things I told you I was going to tell you when we got back on air, when you stand there on stage, I want you to imagine people decades ago going to that theater to see a movie. That was the movie theater that they paid $0.25 for.
Wow.
Can you imagine that?
That's crazy.
I know, it just blows your mind.
Wait, that whole place, they would just show movies?
They showed movies.
That's cool.
I know, I love that. Whenever I think about that, my mom tells me that and I just sit there like,
I love
are you
that.
serious?
I know.
All right, can we do it?
What?
Let's do Sweet Caroline.
From where?
Wherever.
All right, fine. We'll do it from the chorus. Or no, we'll do it from Hands.
Okay.
Hands. No. This is a duet. I didn't sign on.
I want hands.
Hands.
Touching hands. Reaching out. Touching me. Touching you.
Here, you help out too.
Come on, Megan in the background. Sweet Caroline.
Hey, good times never seem so good. So good. So good. All right, that's good.
Everybody at home, there you go. You are a delight.
You
I
as
can't
well.
wait. I cannot wait to see it. We will be there for you tonight, and I'll be the one cheering the loudest.
Love it. I'll be
He's
looking
like,
for
okay,
you. No,
try.
I'll hear you. Let's do it.
Everyone, go see A Beautiful Noise. Again, Neil Diamond. You're going to love the music. You're just going to love, really, honestly, the story, though, I think is what's really cool to see. I'm going to see how your chops are, your acting chops. This will be fun.
You let me know.
You let me know. Again, available to you until November 10th. So don't wait to the last second to get those tickets. I told you we've got entertainment and we've got an author for you. So don't go anywhere. We've got more of The Real Monica Adams Show coming up next. Everyone knows about Jody's balls, and why is that?
I have the best ball.
Oh, wait. Much fun. You never know what you're going to have on the show. I want to thank all of our sponsors, including Elemental Aesthetics. They're located in Creve Coeur in that building, 425 New Ballast Road in this suite, 206. In fact, you'll see Jennifer Warman Bloss on with us this coming Monday instead of Wednesday. She's actually going to be on with us for Medical Monday. And boy, do we have a ton of things to talk about. Among them, sauna, red light therapy, sound therapy. We've been talking about the Vibe Bed, Biomat, PEMF. What's that all about? She'll tell us. IV hydration therapy and wellness shots. We'll also talk about stem cell therapy. They do so many things. When you think about Elemental Aesthetics, you might think, oh, okay, I'm going to go there and get facials. Well, sure. You could also go and get peels, microdermabrasion, dermaplaning. But we're talking about things for the inside and the outside of the body. Can't wait to introduce you to Elemental Aesthetics. If you haven't been yet, make the call for yourself or maybe someone else in your life. Again, it's 314-279-6069. Welcome back and thank you again. Did you enjoy that? Everybody was saying they're so lucky to have the Fox Theater. Some of you are going tonight if you haven't seen it yet. Kathy says, I'm so excited to see A Beautiful Noise tomorrow with my sister. Donna said, loved him. Sounds like Neil Diamond. Yes, I swear, you think you are literally sitting at a Neil Diamond concert. Off the Rails Burger Bar. Hello. Oh my gosh. That's in Pacific. What a great place. Good morning from Pacific, Missouri. Monica and Nick, sing us a song. There you go. We did it for you. Hope you enjoyed that. I'll have to go and get my Neil Diamond CDs out. I'll be singing along all day. Christy Laneforsick, are you new to the show? I know a lot of names of our diehard Monica Maniacs, but I haven't seen that one. Saw the show last night. She says, fabulous, great show. Drop comments in on any of the platforms and we'll get a chance to see those. If you didn't know, we are on multiple. We are right now on Facebook, YouTube, X, Instagram, and Rumble. Loved that. And I hope you now enjoy my next guest. I mentioned, kind of ironic, right? It's National Authors Day, and the St. Louis Jewish Book Festival is going to kick off tomorrow. It runs through the 17th. There's also a Missouri's Own panel, which is neat. That's going to include local authors on November 14th. But let me tell you about my guest, Andrew Mellen. He is hailed as the most organized man in America. Yes. So we are proud to talk to him today about his book. He's actually going to share his innovative techniques for decluttering, organizing your life, my life, with practical tips and a humorous approach. He inspires participants to take control of their spaces and create a more streamlined, stress-free environment.
making the workshop that he's going to hold for you as a practical gem for all. He will be at the festival November 15th at 11 a.m. But today we get to talk to him. Andrew, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Monica. It's great to be here with you.
I'm excited. I was talking to everybody and saying, I can't wait to have Andrew on because I need you in my life. Here is Andrew's book.
It's the first time I've heard that.
I know, right? You probably years and years and years. Unstuff Your Life. We're going to talk about that. We're going to show you some before and afters. But before we do that, you and I were just talking at the break. You've met Neil Diamond. Tell me more about this.
I did. Yeah, so many, many years ago now. I won't actually tell you how many. I was a room service waiter at the Northfield Hilton in Troy, Michigan. And it was halfway between Detroit and Pine Knob, which is a summer music festival in the suburbs of Detroit. And so all of the talent that would play there would stay at the hotel. And as the room service waiter, I got to meet all kinds of amazing artists because I would be bringing the food to their room, and they were all lovely. And I remember I had to bring him food, but I also brought all of his dry cleaning. So all of those costumes that you see him in, right? I remember bringing up a bundle of all of those wild shirts that he would wear, and all in their little plastic sleeves.
It's great to hear that he's nice, because that's the one thing. You and I have met probably a lot of celebrities in our career, and you might have someone that's like, oh my gosh, I couldn't wait to meet this person. And you hope that they deliver and that they actually are kind, right?
Yeah, right. I mean, it's just as easy to be kind and gracious as it is to be weird. And it's always nice when people are normal.
Yeah. We were talking about someone that wasn't, but I'm not even going to put it out there because my whole show is about positivity.
Exactly.
So, all right. So we're going to look at some pictures here. I want to know, because I just got off of a Southwest Airlines flight with the honor flight that I was on. Can't wait to show you all that for Veterans Day. But the veterans were all, the ladies like, can you make a heart for us? And it was so cool how everybody was making that. Now, this isn't a heart. Tell us what you're doing here.
Oh, so this is the organizational triangle. This is, I came up with this as an easy way for folks to remember the only 3 rules you need to know to get and stay organized. And so that's one home for everything, like with like, and something in, something out. And it just makes it gives people a physical way to remember this. And also it's an easy teaching tool.
Interesting. So Andrew and I have never met before, but one of the things that I teach in my life coaching is called the triangle of life theory. And it's having to do with physical, spiritual, mental health, and how many of those have like 33 1/3%. And if one of them's off balance, then we don't have 100% balance in our life. Interesting that we connect on that. I love that.
Yeah. The triangle, trying to keep it as simple for folks as possible, because as you know, people often come with stories around why it can't work, why they are unique, and everybody else can get organized, but I can't, or I've tried a million things, or I've tried everything. And it's like, well, 3 things. One home for everything and like with like will get you organized. Something in, something out will keep you organized. It's super simple.
Okay, so my husband's probably going to laugh because every time I love to shop. Okay, so you probably hear this a lot. So he says, wait, new shoes are coming in. If something's coming in, 2 things need to go out, Monica.
Well, he's a little more aggressive than I am. I'll do a 1-for-1 with you.
Well, okay, so I'm actually getting ready to do a collaboration with St. Louis Closet Company. Jennifer, who owns St. Louis Closet Company, she's going to get my life organized. But Andrew said, I wish I had more time. I'd actually come over and see what's going on. What's going on here is that I have so much in my life that literally, I mean, if you saw the card of the things that we do with this brand, you would try to figure out how in the heck do you do all that in a day. So when I come home, it's all right, shoes here. My husband, I'm going to put it out there. Absolutely 100%. If we were on like one of those newlywed shows, right after we got married, if they ask who's more organized, I would say, oh, him all day, right? I'm going to be honest, him all day. He's got that more of that military mindset, but I would love it, Andrew. And I'm sure a lot of people say that to you, like, I want to be, but don't overwhelm yourself by all of a sudden just trying to go from here to here. So we need the steps. How do we get to be that person?
Sure. Well, again, if we think about one home for everything and like with like, One home for everything means everything has one home and only one home. So where you keep your keys can be different from where I keep my keys, but your keys have a home, my keys have a home. That way they're always either in our hand unlocking something or they're in their home. You will be able to find anything in 30 seconds or less, guaranteed, if you apply that rule. And the second rule for getting organized is like with like. So if all like objects live together instead of most things living together, and then we keep the Phillips head screwdriver in the junk drawer in the kitchen, right? Because we tell ourselves the knobs on these cabinets are always a little loose. I don't want to go all the way out to the garage to get that screwdriver. I'm going to keep it right here in the junk drawer at my fingertips. It's a good time management hack. The problem is you won't remember your time management hack. You go to the garage looking for the Phillips head screwdriver. You don't find it. You might go to the hardware store and pick up another one. 3 weeks later, you're digging around in the junk drawer. You're moving the pizza delivery menus out of the way, the leftover IKEA hardware, maybe the dried pens with no tops, the old batteries, the bread twist ties. There's the Phillips head screwdriver. Your first thought is going to be, who's the idiot who left it here, right? The second one is going to be the average adult tells 200 lies a day. It's my favorite statistic.
Oh, really?
Yes. Yeah. Now, 2/3 of them will never come out of your mouth. It's just the garbage we tell ourselves. But the second one will be, the second thought you have will be one of those 200 lies. Now that I remember my secret time management hack, I'll never forget this again. And in 30 seconds, it'll be, out of sight, out of mind. You'll forget that you left it in there. So instead of thinking that you're going to beat the system, if you apply like with like and put all like items together and assign everything one home, you will get organized. You might need to declutter because you'll discover, oh, I actually have 32 black mock turtlenecks. I didn't realize that because they were squirreled all over the place. Now that I've gotten them together, I realize I have 32 of them and only, 12 of them are the ones those are my go-to sweaters. Right. You've got the other ones that maybe are a little poochy on the bottom, or you've got the ripped out elbow and you have to wear a blouse over it. And you tell yourself, this is my workaround. There's a statistic that says we wear 20% of our wardrobe 80% of the time. So once you get all like with like together, that's when you can start to drill down and make the decisions about what stays and what goes. You don't want to do that until you have all like with like, because as you try to make one-off decisions, you will be able to convince yourself, oh, I want to keep this sweater. Oh, I want to keep that sweater. But when you put them all together side by side by side, suddenly it's like, oh, really? These are the ones that are flattering, that I love to wear. I want to keep these. I can really let these go. I never wear them. And these other ones are my, fallback. If every sweater were dirty, I would wear that one. How likely is it that every sweater will be dirty?
Right. If you're just tuning in, again, we're talking with author Andrew Mellen, who's going to be coming to St. Louis for the St. Louis Jewish Book Festival. Michelle's moderating for you right now, so dropping in links for the festival and how you can get tickets, etc. Bestseller with the Wall Street Journal, Amazon. He, again, is going to help you to unstuff your life. So you do a lot of speaking engagements, and what are the greatest questions that you get? And by the way, everybody that's watching right now, if you have questions of trying to get your life more organized, drop them in because we can answer them for you live right now. But what are the biggest questions when you're at these speaking engagements?
Well, the topics that typically trip people up are papers and filing, because people don't want to throw away an important document. They don't want to make any mistakes. Sentimental objects often keep people stuck, again, because of the stories and the emotional attachment. It's seldom the stuff. I talk about the stuff behind the stuff all the time, because that's the sticky thing that keeps people stuck, is the stuff behind the stuff, the stories that we bring to it. So I always encourage people to look at the object and see if you can separate the story from the thing, right? The story is, this was my grandmother's and she brought it from wherever and now I have it. I don't love it. I love her. I feel guilty if I let it go, but it's not my taste, or it's chipped, or whatever the story, the reality might be. But when we come face to face with the story, all of the feelings come up, and nobody wants to feel guilty or embarrassed, or they worked very hard to buy it, but I don't love it. how many people have that mother-in-law fruit basket or the fruit bowl in the closet, and once a year you have to pull it out and put it on the coffee table and put something in it because somebody's coming, whether it's really your mother-in-law or just, somebody's coming over and you feel like I have to put the thing out that they got me, but I hate it.
Right.
It would be so much better to cut yourself free from that. I often give away a guilt-free certificate, which it's a PDF that you can have. So it's like your get out of jail free card. So it allows you to let go of any of the guilt or shame or embarrassment you have. There's no life is too short to hold on to things that don't serve you. And, many people are familiar with Marie Kondo. I like to think of not only does it spark joy, but really does it make your life more comfortable? Mm-hmm. Does it make your life more convenient? Does it make your life more beautiful? And if the answer is no to any of those, let it go.
You and I would work so well together. When I do my life coaching, whether it's one-on-one or a big audience, it's always, but wait, how does that serve you? It's not, right? So why are you hanging on to it? So much of this, again, when we talk about organizing, it's all aspects of your life. And Andrew and I, I'm going to take a quick break, but Andrew and I were talking at the break, number one with New Year's resolutions is like almost neck and neck, losing weight. I want to get more organized, but I would like for you, here we are on November 1st, 2 months in advance instead of waiting, because right, Andrew, everyone's like, oh, I'll do that January 1st. Well, we're going to be getting tips and we're going to actually show you after the break some before and afters. But before we do that, what in the world is going on in this picture?
Oh, that's eating the frog. So the idea of when we think about time management and procrastination, the number one way to deal with procrastination is to eat the frog. This is a concept that was actually coined by Mark Twain and then made popular by a colleague of mine named Brian Tracy. And the idea is, Mark Twain said, if you eat a live frog first thing in the morning, the rest of the day gets easier.
Interesting. Yeah. I do not want to eat a frog. I dated a lot.
Of course, it's a metaphor. You don't literally have to eat a frog, but you do want to do that thing that you have been avoiding. The quicker you dispatch it, the quicker you set yourself free, right? And the thing about irony, the irony about procrastination is that the thing we want to spend the least amount of time with, we often spend the most amount of time with because we keep dragging it around behind us. If we just belly up and eat that frog, again, metaphorically, as quickly as possible, we set ourselves free and the day does get better. When you get a big win under your belt at the beginning of the day, you seem to sail through the rest of the day instead of that thing looming over your head of like, oh, I still have to do the thing. I have to do the thing. I have to do the thing.
Yes, as always. There's so much on this list, but lists are good. I'll see what you think about that, right? Yeah. So to try to take it out of here and put it down on paper and mark it off. We'll talk about that. And by the way, like I said, any of the platforms that you're on, if you have questions for Andrew, just be real, right? Just own it. Say that you're really organized and this is why, and this is what you do. Maybe you can help out the rest of your community, or be honest like I am, where I'm saying, there's parts of my business part of my life, crazy organized. Here, my closets, not so much. We'll have more with Andrew Mellen when we return.
Discover your full potential with a personalized styling experience. Designing, customizing, and transforming the looks of men and women. Revamp your individual style and embrace what makes you, you. That's real confidence.
And I hope some of you took advantage of what we were doing for the month of October, where I do my custom work with Bespoke, because we were doing Italy fabrics against UK fabrics. I think if any of you are interested, that we could probably let it go into the next week. So reach out to me, info@TheRealMonicaAdams.com. And hey, it would be really great. Maybe you even get a gift certificate for someone to finally do some custom. And I mean everything from jeans to jackets to tuxedos across the board for men and women. It's really, really cool. Also, remember the Feel the Authenticity workshops coming up. Would love to see you there. Andrew and I are talking about getting you to the best version of yourself, no longer feeling guilty or shame. Well, we're going to talk about this for 2 hours as you go into 2025, but really it's more so, as I said, start earlier between the holidays. It is getting you to be happier this time of year. Seasonal affective disorder, it's a real thing. We're going to talk about Getting Real. So this is going to be at Yenology, December 8th from 1 to 3. You've got food, you've got drinks, and it is a mini retreat with me. So tickets are on sale, but they are limited. So go to TheRealMonicaAdams.com, click on our events calendar, and find out more. If you're just tuning in, we're talking with Andrew Mellen, again, coming to St. Louis for the St. Louis Jewish Book Festival. You'll get an opportunity to see him and talk about the book Unstuff Your Life. November 15th, he will be there at 11 a.m. Have you been to St. Louis before?
I have, yes.
Good. All right. Well, hopefully we treated you well.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm coming back.
All right. Well, so I talked about making lists, and sometimes those lists can get a little bit overwhelming, but do you recommend we do that?
Sure. I think lists are fine. Lists are not a time management tool in the sense that you still have to do work with a list, right? You have to prioritize. You have to quantify how much time you're going to allot to each thing on your list. Something that I often suggest folks do is, instead of having one global list, is chunk it up according to category. So sometimes people have difficulty prioritizing because two things that are both important are vying for your attention, but they're in different spheres of your life. So going to the doctor is probably a number one on your health and wellness list. It shouldn't be competing with cleaning out the gutters, right? That might be in the fall. It might be a high priority for the home maintenance to-do list, but they shouldn't be on the same to-do list, because again, you can see how somebody could be stuck thinking, well, I should make that appointment to go to the doctor, but I also have all these chores to do, and then I need to return that box to Amazon, and I've got this to do and that to do. How do I decide what I should do first? Well, they shouldn't all be competing for position number one on the same list. By chunking them up according to category or sphere of your life, it becomes much easier to prioritize that way.
Interesting. And again, if you just tuned in, I highly recommend that you go back, watch the beginning of the show, watch the beginning of this interview, excuse me, as Andrew gives us a rundown of things that we can do to start taking steps to be like this. Because again, I mean, who wouldn't say that they would love to be so unbelievably organized, that people walk in your house and you're just like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I don't know if you saw the documentary on Celine Dion, I Am Celine, but I've never seen a person so organized in my life, whether that's her, and I have to believe it is, or maybe people helping her, but her drawers, if you haven't seen this, folks, you open the drawer, all the socks are just beautifully rolled up. She's got in her kitchen, all of the cabinets are glass, so you can see all the food in there. It's so, to me, it's like so over the top of, oh my gosh, I will never be there. How the heck do you get there? So here's my question to you. Is it something that you grew up with, and it's something that your parents are instilling in you, or do you find it on your own? Because that's my question of, if you grew up in where you feel a little bit of chaos or unorganized, then do you continue that from a child on, or do you break that because you want, I mean, I guess it could go both ways.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's both nurture and nature at play there. And I would say that everybody can get organized. I've worked with folks that have hoarding disorders. I've worked with folks that, all neurodivergent and challenges with attention. And if you want to get organized, you can get organized. Okay. If you have some challenges staying focused, if you if you grew up in a chaotic home, it's different, obviously, but it is similar to if you grew up with people who drink too much. Yeah. Some people continue to drink and other people become teetotalers. It's a combination of nurture and nature. So I don't believe, they've mapped the human genome. We haven't found the organizing gene. So I don't think that it is something that you would be genetically predisposed to not be organized or to be organized. And if you think about it, right, we come into the world with nothing. We don't come with clutter. We don't come with too many things. So there is, in my worldview, we were hunter-gatherers for years. Years. Mm-hmm. Hundreds of thousands of years. Yeah. So these impulses in us are there. Many of us don't have to work to provide food, clothing, and shelter for ourselves in quite the same way. But the impulse is strong in us. So that natural inclination to be drawn to shiny objects and to want to bring things in and to nest is, I think, a natural human impulse. The fact that we don't need to do it to survive means that we have to funnel it or channel it in a way that is productive for us, instead of just unconscious and running back here as an instinct that doesn't have a natural way to be played out today.
Yeah. Again, this is the reason why we need people like Andrew, or again, here locally, why Jennifer's collaborating with our show with St. Louis Closet Company. I'm going to show some pictures here, but as I show these and we kind of break down the before and after, what happens with me, and you tell me if you've worked with a lot of people like this, you come home, once you do feel like, okay, I've got some time, I'm not working 5 jobs, I am looking at the closet, I will all of a sudden take everything out, throw it on the bed, and then start going, oh, this is really cool. Let's put blacks together and greens together. And then I'll be like, oh my gosh, I forgot I had these purses. I'll do it. And then all of a sudden I'll go backwards and it'll happen all over again. So how do I break that from happening? And I am in no way like this. I love organization. So this would drive me crazy, but it's not to the level of there's beautiful lines in the carpet. There's lines in the grass. I mean, there's that over the top where I look at it as, okay, is that a little OCD?
And for some folks, again, OCD is a real thing, and some people can't go to sleep until all of the shoes are lined up perfectly and everything is at a 90-degree angle. I think for each of us, we need to determine where does order live in the structure of our life. I want it to be easy for folks to function in. You got a busy life. It helps to keep things simple, so that you can find what you need when you need it. And going back to the organizational triangle, for you, Monica, I would just say it's relatively easy to get organized. It's the staying organized that really tends to trip people up, right? I mean, it looks, you get everything organized, and then in 3 months or 3 weeks, it looks like a bomb went off again. And it's the incremental, it's one of those 200 lies we tell ourselves, right? Oh, I'm going to put it away later. I don't have enough time to hang this back up or to put this back where it came from now. I promise I'll do it later. And you mean it when you say it. I will, but you don't. Later arrives with its own demands on our time. It's always going to be cheaper emotionally and time-wise to do it now rather than the imaginary later. That clutter is nothing more than a deferred decision piled up on another deferred decision. So it's always easier to just dispatch it in the moment. And if it becomes a habit, but it has to be a mechanical thing, you might still feel that time compression of, oh, there's not enough time. I can't stop and do this now. And what I would invite you specifically and all the viewers to do is poke a hole in that story and say, it's the same 20 seconds, whether I take the time now and put this back where it came from, or it'll probably be 30 or 40 seconds later when I have to do it. And the time differential is one of those things that then makes us procrastinate, because we think, oh, if I didn't have the 20 seconds now, I definitely won't have the 40 seconds later. And it just compounds, and we tell ourselves, I'll do it when I have more free time. Right. When is that? Nobody's going to win the time lottery here.
Nope. And it never comes. And it's interesting because, again, someone who life coaches people, someone who personal trains people, and we know the importance of, let's get that 50, 100 pounds off of you, because again, it's not serving you. It's making you anxious, fearful, shame, depression, all of those things we always are trying to break you of. The same would apply when you go, oh my gosh, it just feels so overwhelming to try to start this. I was showing the pictures. And again, before we wrap up, Andrew Mellen is coming to the St. Louis Jewish Book Festival. I'd love for you to be able to hear him in person. Unstuff Your Life. He will be there on November 15th at 11 a.m. If you haven't gotten your tickets yet, do so. So going from the clutter and the chaos that you're seeing here, where again, this would overwhelm someone. Like, I don't know where anything is. Or here's my question, because some people say that they feel like they have organized chaos, that they know where everything was. And if somebody moves it, it's,
Why did you do that? Because I knew exactly where that was. And actually, Andrew, that happened. I was away on a business trip. My husband was trying to be sweet. He was cleaning up the counter where I put a bunch of my stuff when I come home. And I'm like, where is that? It was my list. And look, I'm going to be honest here. I just scribble things down, right? I've got papers everywhere. This is my organization. My mom's in the background laughing. But what I knew was this is how I would keep track of my clients. Some of my clients are crazy organized and they're like, Monica, can I do that for you? Like literally you could just do this. And I said, this works for me. I write down, I'm marking off all of your sessions. He threw that away and I went, what? I don't know who has what, where. I'm just going to trust them that they had 5 sessions or 8 sessions. But in my mind, that was organized. In his, it's get this off the countertop. So what do you do in that circumstance?
Yeah, well, in stuff discordant relationships, right? It's really, you got to stay on your side of the street. It's just like with anything else in a relationship, the person whose things they are and the person gets to determine for themselves how they want to live, and how, if you want to be happy, right? Do you want to be right or do you want to be happy?
Right.
In intimate relationships, whether it's siblings, it's parents and children, or it's partners, right? Whatever the dynamic of the relationship is, it's really important that the things that belong to somebody, they belong to that person. And before you help them, it's always better to ask. I actually don't believe in it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission. I think it's better to ask for permission. I think it shows a level of respect for the other person to say, I really want to help you. My impulse is to do this. Would that serve you or would that create more complications for you? Rather than I helped you, and now you should be grateful, even though what I've done is thrown you a curveball.
Yes. So what I would like, and this is with a spouse, with friends, family, whatever, to say, hey, can we carve out some time? I want to help you with this. I want to help you get more organized. So let's take these. Is this important to you? All right, let's put it in a folder or let me type it up for you. That's why I have an assistant.
As far as the typing up goes, I mean, one of the beautiful things now about technology is you can dictate those lists. If you can talk, and I talk fast, you talk fast.
Yep.
I can dictate. I mean, I'm a good typer, but I can talk even faster. And the voice recognition software now is so powerful and so accurate that I like to write things in longhand, but then I will read them into the computer or into my phone so that I can get them in a digital platform super quick. It's so much easier than keystroking it in.
Yeah. Yep. Again, so much of technology is really, truly trying to help us. But as you look at these pictures, I'm going to show you again one more time, the befores and afters. So this is the before desk. And then look at how much calmer, again, it makes you when you look at the after. The before kitchen, which again looks like chaos. And how do I get to this? As I look at this, and before we wrap up, time-wise, Andrew, in these pictures, really, truly, how much time would we have to carve out of going from this to this?
Well, I mean, this was a renovation project that I supervised. I was the general contractor on this renovation. I mean, this was a multi-week project to go from this to that as far as the house goes. But the kitchen was done in a day.
Okay.
So, and in that kitchen in particular, right? It's a simple kitchen. I think often people think they have to renovate the kitchen to get organized. This is a pretty functional craftsman kitchen. These are the original cabinets. We hung a pot rack. It was we didn't have to spend a ton of money. So I think that we tend to make it more complicated in our heads of, I can't be functional in this kitchen because there aren't enough drawers or I don't have enough cabinets. You can certainly work with the physical limitations of whatever space you're in. Don't trip yourself up into thinking that you need to spend $40,000 on a kitchen renovation to be able to put your spatulas in the same drawer. It's not true.
Right. And are there people helping with the befores and afters? So it doesn't feel like it's all on one person.
Oh, well, in these cases, this was me working with the clients. I did that. That was my hands-on work.
Okay.
I tend to, like you, I I would always rather teach you to fish than give you a fish. I don't want you dependent on me. And these are simple life skills that you should be able to sustain long after you've worked with me as a private client. So it's very important to me that I transfer the knowledge and the skills and the experience. So I don't like a do for you. You could hire me to do it for you, and I could certainly do it with your staff. I would much rather teach you these principles so that you have the ability to be independent, because it serves you across all of the spheres of your life, whether you're traveling or you're at work. These simple life skills translate everywhere you go. Knowing where your things are, how to find them quickly, how to use them and how to put them back, and how to let things go that no longer serve you is applicable everywhere.
Yep, absolutely. Again, he's got so many great tools for you to get to that organization. Unstuff Your Life. You can pick up that book in advance and then ask him questions when you see him here in St. Louis. So thrilled. You are a wealth of knowledge, and I'm going to start implementing these things because that is what I want for my life. And again, I looked at it and thought, all right, let's just start this, because I don't want to do the back and forth anymore. I love to come in and go, look how great this looks. And it makes you calmer, right? We want to get to that calm state.
Yep. And the simplest thing to do is just put it away when you're finished with it. I mean, if you can make that one tweak to your behavior of, instead of setting it down, just return it to its home, you'll be able to sustain the organization for the rest of your life.
Yep. That's it. That's what I want. Andrew, thank you so very much. I greatly appreciate it. And I hope again that you have a wonderful time here in St. Louis.
Thanks. It's been great to be with you.
All right, everybody, don't go anywhere. We'll do our wrap up. We always have a devotional for you. Thank you to Mellen for buying us this book, Jesus Calling. We'll see what today has to say. I wonder if it has to do with organization. We'll have more when we return.
Welcome to the mobile Monica version of the Real Monica Adams Show at my favorite restaurant.
There's something about a coffee house that's just very warm and welcoming.
Gives you that sense of community.
What are you most proud of since you've opened it?
I cry easily. I'm thankful for everybody here.
You opened the door during the middle of the pandemic. You got the best Italian restaurant in the United States. Here in St. Louis, you put us on the map.
Does it scare you? You go through fear?
Terrifying.
So how do you get past the fear?
We find something to laugh about.
All right, welcome back. We're wrapping up with our devotional, Jesus Calling. And Michelle's done an incredible job dropping everything you need for today, for the upcoming events. Again, let's just give you a breakdown. Tomorrow, I am emceeing and auctioneering for the Diamonds Gala with helping out to advance research for those that are suffering with liver disease. I want to thank multiple people actually for making that happen. If you are needing an MC or an auctioneer for your event, reach out to us. I would love to help you raise some really big money. Michelle just dropped upcoming events on our calendar. So we've got that tomorrow. And then we talked about November 21st is our next Mobile Monica. That is with the Vault Luxury Resale. Can't wait to see Diana. If you want, want to be one of our models, you've got to email me, info@TheRealMonicaAdams.com. I want to choose a few of you to be a part of that. It's going to be a lot of fun. If you've seen our makeover shows, you can be one of those models that gets all of us saying, here's the best version of you. You know, that's one thing that I absolutely love is finding your unique style. So that's November 21st at the Vault at 7 a.m. And then December 8th, again, is our big workshop that's going to be held at Enology. I would love for you to be there. Some of you have purchased your tickets already. If you haven't, please do so. We have room for 25. I think we've had 12 sold so far. The Feel the Authenticity workshop at Enology, again, from 1 to 3 p.m. on December 8th. That is 903 South Lindbergh, Suite 110 in Frontenac. Food, drinks, and again, a huge change in your life as you go into 2025. Now, what I want is for all of you to start thinking about where the show can be held for the holidays, big festivals that are coming up, showcasing your business. If you have a store, you have a restaurant, you have a festival, we were always doing the Monica merchandise. We were giving you $100 to use on Monica merchandise, the real Monica Adams merchandise. That's know your value. But now I'm actually giving you cold hard cash because we all need that in this economy. $150 going to you if somebody books a Mobile Monica or someone becomes a sponsor. I'm going to give you $150. So start working behind the scenes because you are part of our team now. All right. There's some really cool things to come for the rest of this year and then into 2025. So we have started a new month. We are now into November and November 1st. All right. Do not be discouraged by the difficulty of keeping your focus on me. I know that your heart's desire is to be aware of my presence continually. This is a pretty lofty goal. You aim toward it, but never fully achieve it in this life. Don't let feelings of failure weigh you down. Instead, try to see yourself as I see you. First of all, I am delighted by your deep desire to walk closely with me through your life. I'm pleased each time you initiate communication with me. In addition, I notice the progress you've made since you first resolved to live in my presence. When you realize that your mind has wandered away from me, don't be alarmed and don't be surprised. You live in a world that's been distracting. Each time you plow your way through the massive distractions to communicate with me, you achieve a victory. Rejoice in these tiny triumphs, and they will increasingly light up your days. That did kind of fit in with what we were discussing today. I hope you had a wonderful Halloween. Again, I hope you have a great weekend. And then on tap for next week, Monday, Jennifer Warman Bloss. We told you she's coming in from Medical Monday from Elemental Aesthetics. And then coming up on Tuesday, this is going to be so fun. Do you know about Tenacious Eats? If not, you will on Tuesday. Chef Liz is coming in with us, and they are going to do something really cool with the movie Gremlins. If you've ever been to one of these, she shows the movie and then stops the movie and then has all these courses, 5 courses. We're going to taste one of those courses on set, and we'll talk about how she ever started that. It's just super, super cool. And then we've got Wet Your Whistle Wednesday coming up next Wednesday at Defiance Ridge Vineyards. And then I'm going to be coming to you live from Italy. So our Mobile Monicas can literally be anywhere in the country. So we will be in Milan and we will be in the Piedmont region on Veterans Day. I'll be coming to you live on November 11th. And then we've also got some really incredible shows that we've done in the past that we're going to re-air for you. So please remember, if you don't get a notification that I'm live at 7 a.m., it doesn't mean that we're not there for you. Please watch those because my team has worked very hard to edit those shows and get those ready for you. So thank you to Tia. Thank you to Hannah. Thank you to Zach for doing all the editing and getting those ready for you. And then, of course, as always, thank you to Michelle doing wonderful work and keeping me organized. And today, keeping you aware of all the things that we have going on. I hope you all have a beautiful weekend. And remember what we always ask you to do. We said it earlier, right? You can go through life. You can be cruel. You can be toxic. You can be negative, or you can do what serves you, which is to be kind. God bless you all. Have a beautiful weekend.